Today, we are going to look at one of Patrick Shaw's jobs. You know, Patrick Shaw had three jobs. He had some job. He was a senior person. He was an assistant director in charge of discipline at Starehe Boys Center. And he was a police reservist who did two things: political assassination and also a crime buster. Today we are going to talk about his work as a crime buster. But we are going to handle somebody called WAKINYONGA. WAKINYONGA is one of the toughest crooks. For most of those who are watching this tape will find that they may not understand Washosho, Rasta, and Wanugu. But those who are in the middle age who know Rasta, Washosho, Wanugu, whom we will talk at a later time, their forefather, can I say their forefather, was one called WAKINYONGA. But before we start, yes, police all over, and I support that. Police all over usually look at a criminal and decide, and that is why Rashid from Pangani is suffering. You look at a criminal, you find that the only solution is that he should be mboga ya fisi. That is what Patrick Shaw used to call those people, mboga ya fisi. So, I want to tell police officers that, or even political leaders, that sometimes eliminating or getting somebody out of way by a way of elimination, mostly physically, you may get a worse person. Let me give an example of a non-physical elimination. There was a way which was seen that Archbishop Stephen was very tough in Siaya. So a plan was made that he be found with an election offense so that in 5 years a lot of things would happen. So an election court declared that he had committed an election offense, so 5 years he will not contest. And 5 years meant in 10 years, he can stay up to 10 years without being an MP. Archbishop of the Legio Maria, Stephen Ondiek, appointed his own brother-in-law, James Agri Orengo, to contest. Now, if they would have not done that, you would never have heard of James Orengo, who today is the governor of Siaya. Just before today, he was the senator for Siaya. And huko zamani before most of you were born, he was one of the bearded sisters. So I think those who wanted Stephen Ondieki out must have regretted that a worse type came in the form of James Agri Orengo. Now that is political. Let us come to physical. WAKINYONGA, who was called Mwea, can't recall his first name, is it Patrick or something? But his name was Mwea. Mwea was a deputy gang leader. They eliminated the gang leader. The gang leader was called Francis Orua. They eliminated Francis Orua, and as we have seen that James Orengo politically became worse than Archbishop Steve Ondiek wa Lejo Maria. And criminally, Wakinyonga, Mwea, whose nickname was Wakinyonga, became worse. And he was nicknamed Wakinyonga because he alikuwa wakunyonga. Now, their gang was similar to what today, or what later could be called Kina Washushu, Wanogo, and whatever. But Francis Orua was the boss, and the deputy was Mwea, or better known as Wakinyonga. This is what happened with Francis Orua. There's a robbery that he did, and he robbed African Retail Traders, ART. It is said, it was said, and I think it was confirmed during the later days. It was alleged that Simon Nyachai had shares in ART. It is also said that Mama Ngina Kenyatta had shares in ART. I'll come to ART because that is where Francis Orua stole. And that is why ART, this, what do we call the higher purchase people, Africa Retail Traders. And much, much later, many decades later, when Nyachai's son, called Maina, Eric Maina Nyachai, got married, you can see, I was in charge of security at Masai Lodge in Ongata Rongai, and Mama Ngina played a very big role in the wedding, and a sort of an aunt. Eric Maina Nyachai's mother is from Tumutumu area, where my mother came from. And also, Nyachai was once a provincial commissioner in Eastern. Let me not be said to be veering off the topic, but I'm telling you this. ART, confirmation of that, the closeness of Nyachai and Mama Ngina, is that they owned, or at best they founded the company Africa Retail Traders. Francis Orua organized crooks to rob African retail traders. What do you get in African retail traders? Furniture. Somewhere between Tahidi High School and Bomas of Kenya, Francis Orua rented a house. When he rented the house, he directed the owner never to step near the compound, and he paid rent for 6 months in advance. The business owner, the house owner, the landlord, became suspicious. So one day he went and checked the house. Francis Orua had forgotten to buy curtains. And what the landlord saw was that each house was like a self-contained house. Each room, you find it had a bed, it had a dining table, it had all the things, just like those people who stay in a one-roomed house. So he went and reported to the police. The police started monitoring Francis Orua. Francis Orua, as I said, he had stolen those things from ART, and it had annoyed Mama Ngina. So, Patrick Shaw, in his element, sending messages, if you remember, he used to go and talk to the mother of a criminal and tell her to pass a message to the criminal. He also had to pass a message to Francis Orua through female relatives by saying, tell him to return everything to ART, or he will become Bogaya Fisi. Francis Orua did not follow that. So one day, Francis Orua was followed. He was having a merry time in Nairobi West, buying meat, drinking, and boasting. Anasema sikio la kufa alisikii dawa. He was boasting that before he dies, he will kill a police officer. Those days we used to have telephone booth. Somebody sneaked and made a 999 to the police, and Patrick Shaw came with his white Volvo. When Francis Orua saw him, he ran from Nairobi West and towards Madaraka Estate and entered the first, you know, there is a road there called Cody Road. Cody Road is in a Caldisi formation, that is a C formation. It starts this way and ends the other way, or a D formation if you want. So he entered on one side, but police covered the other end, and Patrick Shaw started following him on the other, on the first end. He went and he knew that the other place was closed, so he jumped there is, I don't know whether there's a river or anything, but he jumped na akatokezea where today we have a roundabout of Langata Road and Mbagathi Way. That time it was a T junction. So he appeared there where today we have a T mall. And when he reached there, he had run out of, you know, running away. Some of these things, let me tell you, from the inside. Ukisikia sijui Ghostbuster or Crime Buster fulani anaua watu wengi, sometimes it is arranged so that he does the finishing work. It is done by those constables, young people. So it is these young people who are following him. But when he went to the T junction, which today is a roundabout near the T Mall, Langata Road, Mbagathi Way, he saw Patrick Shaw ahead of him, and he had run out of bullets, firing at those constables who had chased him from Nairobi West. He carried up his hand, and he was shot and killed. If you check the newspapers of that day, including the picture that I've shown here, the picture I've shown here is WAKINYONGA, but the pictures that were shown of Francis Orua was shown when he was shot while his hands were up, which is against procedure, because a person who is that way is supposed to be checked to confirm that it is not a trick and is armed and handcuffed. But he was shot and killed. When he was shot and killed, it was there all over that day. The gang was taken over by Mwea. I'm forgetting his Christian name, but I'll write it in the comment. Mwea, who now became bad. He used to say, hakuna haja ya kupoteza risasi, if you are subdued, anakunyonga. Ndio akaitwa WAKINYONGA. WAKINYONGA, in a matter of 1 year, at most 2 years, he became so bad that he scared a lot of people. His Waterloo was in Kangemi. It was at Kangemi Westlands, where he was also, and you see, ya kukufa. He went to a bar, bought meat for everybody. You know, that is when the system started, where you find that every bar has a butcher next to it. So he went and took one cow, said on one side ichemshwe, the other side ichomwe. And he said everybody to drink, and he was paying for the drinks. And he was saying that kukufa nitakufa, but I swear, mayagai, I swear that before I die, I will have killed a police officer. Whom did he see? Patrick Shaw. And WAKINYONGA was shot at Kangemi Westlands. Now from WAKINYONGA, We used to have every 5 or so, we used to have criminals, but none of them was as serious as Washosho, Wanugu, and so on. That is the story of Wakinyonga.